Welcome back to Stories for Kids. If you are listening this from my podcast, please like it. If you are watching this from my YouTube channel with Sudeshna, then please subscribe if you have not subscribed yet. So I will read more and more similar stories for kids. And if your kids are not reading books, I think this is the first step you can include in your kids routine, so that they will be interested for learning new stories. So without wasting much time, let's start our first story from Birbal Akbar series, episode 3. Story of a smart cheat. Once there lived a man in Akbar's city. He had very strange way of making a living. He would cheat people and made them pay him a lot of money. One day he met a very rich merchant at the market. The merchant had traveled from a foreign country. He was new in the city, so when the cheat invited him to his house for dinner, the merchant accepted it, hoping to make some friends in the new city. That night they had a delicious dinner and talked for a long time. Then the merchant and his host went to bed. Next morning, the cheat said to the merchant, "I have invited you to dinner. I played such a good host, and this is how you have paid me back." The merchant was totally confused. He said, "I don't know what you are talking about." The cheat said, "You have stolen my diamond. I want it back." The merchant said, "Friend, I don't know what diamond you are talking about. I have absolutely no idea." They began to fight. Finally, they decided to go to the court to sort it out. Emperor Akbar was puzzled when he heard both their stories. He asked Birbal to solve the case. The cheat said, "Jahabana, I have witnesses who have seen the merchant stealing my diamond." Birbal said, "Please call upon your witnesses. I would like to ask them about it." A barber and a tailor were the cheat's witnesses. Birbal gave each of them a lump of clay and asked them to shape it as a diamond. They were taken to different rooms to work on that clay. The barber had never seen a diamond in his life. His father told him to a barber a razor was what a diamond was to a diamond merchant. He molded the clay into a razor. The tailor's mother too had told him that a needle must mean to a tailor the way diamond means to a diamond merchant. He molded the clay in the shape of a needle. When Birbal saw what the witnesses had made, he said, "Jahapana, none of these men have ever seen a diamond, so how could they have seen a merchant steal the diamond? The story is a lie. The merchant is innocent." It was proven that the cheat has bribed the barber and the tailor to be false witnesses. He was jailed for cheating, while the merchant happily went back home. Wow, that's a great story. The next story is Counting of Crows. Once, a very famous scholar had travelled from the neighbouring kingdom to Akbar's court. The man bowed to the emperor and said, "Jahapana, I have heard a lot about Birbal's intelligence. People from far and wide often enjoy the stories about his wit. Your Highness, if you allow, I would like to test his talent." Akbar called Birbal and introduced him to the scholar. The scholar said, "Tell me how many crows live in your city." Birbal heard the question calmly and said, "My friend, I shall surely give you the answer tomorrow." Everyone at the court was surprised at the conversation between scholar and Birbal. Emperor Akbar called Birbal aside and asked, "This man seems to be mad. How is it possible for a person to count the number of crows living in the city? It will take days before you find the right answer. You will never be able to count all of them in a day." Birbal smiled and said, "Jahapana, this man is trying to outsmart me. But do not worry, he will get the taste of his own medicine." Next day, Birbal came to the court. The scholar was already seated there. The scholar said, "Have you found the answer?" Birbal said, "Of course, there are exactly 47,835 crows in this city." The scholar was very surprised at the answer. He said, "How can you be so sure?" Birbal bowed to Akbar and said, Jahapana, I have counted all the crows in this city, including the ones that have migrated from the neighboring kingdom. If anyone doubts my answer, it is only fitting that he should count them himself for his satisfaction. Akbar burst out laughing. The scholar was very ashamed of himself when he heard Birbal. He left the city that day itself, promising that he would never challenge anyone again. The next story is Birbal and three dolls. Once, a very famous artist came to Akbar's court carrying three beautiful dolls. The dolls looked exactly same. They were so similar that it was difficult to tell the difference between them. Akbar loved the doll. He said, Sell me the dolls and I will give you a handsome price. The artist said, Jahapana, these dolls are not for sale. However, I shall give them to you as a gift if anyone from your court can tell which of the three dolls is best. This was a strange puzzle. Akbar took the dolls and looked at them closely, but the three dolls were so similar that Akbar could not say which was the best. Then each of his ministers tried to solve the puzzle, but they failed. Akbar called Big Birbal. Dear Birbal, why don't you try? I am sure you will be able to solve the puzzle. Birbal bowed to Akbar and went up to the dolls. He took each doll in his hand. He observed them very closely. Then, to everyone's astonishment, he blew into one doll's ear. The wind came out of its other ear. Then he blew into another doll's ear. This time the wind came out of its mouth. When Birbal blew into the third doll's ears, the wind did not come out at all. Birbal said, Jahapana, the third doll is the best out of the three. Akbar was surprised. He said, How did you know that? Birbal said, My lord, the three dolls are like three kinds of men. When I blew into the ear of the first doll, the wind came out of its other ear. Just as and when we tell a secret to some men, they forget it to the next minute. When I blew it the second doll's ear, the wind came out of its mouth, just as some men who speak out what they have heard. Such men cannot keep a secret. But when I blew into the ear of the third doll, the wind did not come out at all. These kind of men are best, for they can keep a secret. You can tell them about any secret matter. The artist said, I had only heard about Birbal's wisdom, but today I have seen it too. Jahapana, these dolls are yours. Akbar said he was very proud of Birbal. The next story is Mother Tongue. Once a strange man came to Akbar's court and bowed respectfully to the emperor. He said, Jahapana, I can speak many different languages. I can be of great service to you if you let me stay in your court as one of your ministers. Emperor decided to test the strange man. He asked his ministers to speak to the man in different languages. In Akbar's court, there were people from different parts of India. All of them spoke different languages. Each minister came forward and spoke to the man, to which the man replied in the same language. Everyone praised the man for his skill with languages. Akbar was very impressed. He offered the man to be his minister. But the man said, Your Majesty, I have spoken in many different languages today. Can anyone in your court tell what my mother tongue is? Many ministers tried guessing his mother tongue, but they failed. The man began to laugh at the ministers. He said, I have heard that the ministers here are the best brains of the kingdom, but I think I was wrongly told. The emperor was embarrassed. He looked around for Birbal for help. He said to Birbal, Please do something to save me from such humiliation. Birbal said to the man, My friend, you look tired. You must have travelled a long distance to come to the court. Please rest for today. I shall answer your question tomorrow morning. Indeed, the man was tired. He took the emperor's leave and left to have some dinner. He was given a warm welcome by the emperor. He had a delicious dinner, after which he was taken to the royal guest room where he went to bed. After all the ministers had left, Akbar asked Birbal, How will you be able to answer the man's question? Birbal said. Jahapana, do not worry, I have a plan. That night, when everyone in the palace were fast asleep, Birbal wrapped a black shawl around himself and quietly crept into the strange man's room. With a twig of hay, Birbal tickled the man's ears. The man soon woke up, but when he saw a black figure in the dark, he thought that he had seen a ghost. He screamed and began to shout in Oriya language, "Oh Lord Jagannath, save me! I have been attacked by a ghost." Suddenly, the emperor entered the room along with his ministers. Birbal threw the shawl on the floor and lit the lights. He said to man, "So, you are from Odisha and your mother tongue is Oriya. Am I right?" The man realized that Birbal had very cleverly tricked him. He told Birbal that he was right. Akbar said, "A man can speak many different languages, but he will always scream in his mother tongue when he is scared." Birbal had solved the puzzle and emperor praised him for his cleverness. So the last story of the day is a matter of devotion. Emperor Akbar was well known for his love of arts and religion. One of the arts that he was fond of was music. And just like Birbal, who was considered as one of the 9 jewels of King Akbar's court, Tansen was one of the jewels greatly known and respected for his singing. It is said that there was none better than Tansen, for no one could compete with him when it comes to singing. Once, Akbar was much pleased with Tansen's music. He praised Tansen. He said to Tansen, "You are the best artist in the world. Your music is so great that it has no comparison." Tansen was overwhelmed with gratitude, but he was a simple man. He said, "Your Majesty, this is only your opinion. There are artists in the world who are better than me." Akbar said, "Come now, Tansen, you are being modest. I have heard many singers, but your music is the best among all of them." Tansen said, "Then, Your Majesty, you must listen to my master, Guru Swami Haridas. He is way better than I am. His music is really very beautiful." Akbar was curious. He said, "Is it so? Then I must hear your Guru sing. Surely you can request him to sing for me." Tansen said, "Your Majesty, Swami Haridas would never come to the court and sing for you. But if you come with me to his house, you can hear him sing." Akbar was very eager to listen to Swami Haridas sing. He agreed at once and come along with his favorite minister Birbal and Tansen. He reached Swami Haridas' house. Akbar stayed at Swami Haridas' house for a couple of days, but Guru never sang. Akbar was getting impatient. He called Tansen and asked, "When will Swami Haridas sing? I have been here for 4 days now, but he has not sung a syllable. If this goes on, I would have to return to the palace without having heard him sing." Tansen said, "My lord, Guruji would sing only when he thinks the time is right. We must have patience." Then one morning, Akbar was woken from his sleep by a very melodious voice. Swami Haridas was singing. His voice was so deep and beautiful that the emperor was mesmerized completely. He said to Tansen, "You are right. Indeed, Swami Haridas is better than you." Tansen bowed to the emperor. Akbar decided to return to the palace now. He felt very satisfied after hearing Swami Haridas sing. On the way back, he asked Birbal, "Birbal, Swami Haridas is a brilliant singer. Why is Tansen's music not good as his master's?" Birbal said, "Jahapana, it is because Tansen sings to please you, but Swami Haridas sings to please God. It is a matter of devotion." Akbar remained silent until they safely reached the palace. Wow, this is a very powerful message. So with this, I will end today's reading session. Kids, please let me know if you like this episode, and if you like this, share it with your friends and family. Thank you for listening, and thank you for watching who are watching this in the YouTube. Bye bye.